Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So this video is kind of random. So I have this SSD here. This is from the Mac Pro server. And actually if I set the camera down, this is also going to be probably not the highest quality video because it's not planned at all. I have this kit of memory here, and if you remember, we installed this memory in the server about a month ago. It's the video before the first Socket 775 PC. We installed it in the server. So I was thinking the other day why this kit was in the server when it had some dead modules in the kit, and when I have the original memory in the server not really doing anything. So just now I had nothing to do, so I swapped the memory from some board it was in into the server again. And when I fired up the server, I got no beeping, but the power LED was flashing. So I just took the tray out and I reseated the memory, and the machine booted up right away just fine. But then I went on my MacBook and I couldn't find it on the network. So I turned the machine off and turned it on again. Same issue. So I plugged in my monitor here. This is my third monitor on my Mac Pro setup. And I got video output, but it booted into what looked to be a recovery partition. So I went into the startup disk thing and nothing showed up. So I rebooted the machine, and the only thing that shows up is the backup disk. So I don't know what's going on. So I took this drive out of the Mac Pro. This is the boot SSD. There's the adapter, and there's another project I'm working on. And if I set this down, I'll go ahead and plug this into the Mac Pro workstation again, and I will show you what happens when I plug it in. And I don't know why this computer thinks it's going to sleep. You can see I get this, the disk inserted was not readable by this computer. So I don't know what's going on here, because the machine was booted off of this drive like a few minutes ago, and it doesn't show up in disk utility either. I don't know what that is. That can go away. And this must be some controller or something. I don't know. I think this is actually the drive. I'm not sure though. Also, sorry for the shaky footage. I'll try to stabilize that in post. But I don't know what's going on with the server. Theoretically, all of my data should be fine because that's on a separate drive. I just have some preferences that need to be fixed on the boot disk. And I should have a backup of server 5.3, which I think the server was running. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's very strange. So I'm going to go ahead and actually I'll get the tripod and try to make this video a bit better for you because I do want to upload it. Anyway, alright, we're on the tripod now. So I'm going to go ahead and eject this drive. And I should be able to restore from Time Machine backup. B, I'm going to have to make another 1013 install disk. So that drive's ejected now. And yeah, that drive goes away in disk utility, so that's most likely a controller or something. So we're just going to put this back in the enclosure here. Alright, there we go. And I'm going to throw this back in the Mac Pro. And then everything is going to show up on that monitor there. The server actually doesn't like me not having a keyboard or mouse plugged in here. So now you can see we are booting into something. And I don't hear the drives doing anything. But it is a very slow boot, and the server usually boots up probably 5 or 6 times faster than even where we are now. It should be at the login screen at least. But I could probably stick this RAM in my Socket 775 PC and have 8 gigs instead of 4 gigs in there. So here we are in some kind of recovery partition. When I had the drive plugged in with disk utility, a recovery partition didn't show up either. Obviously the drive couldn't be read. So it looks like it is a High Sierra installer. So I'm going to go to restore from Time Machine backup and see what comes up here. Let me just loop the mouse through the tripod here. So now we're searching for Time Machine backups. Here's backup disk. But it doesn't show other backup options. So let's go to continue. Looking for system backups. No macOS system backups were found. That's interesting because I have the Mac Pro workstation and MacBook Air backed up onto here too. Let's go back. I really don't want to erase the drive, but looks like that's our only option here. I'm going to go to Disk Utility, see what shows up here. So you can see our SSD controller here. Geez, it almost looks like the SSD failed. Anyway, like I said, SandForce controller here, uninitialized. We still have master pool, which has the right amount of space on it, and then backup disk has a bit more space used than I'd like, but that could be just for the server drive. So yeah, it looks like the SSD may have failed in here actually, but I'll just go ahead and erase that. We'll call this boot SSD, I think is what I had it named. So erase, unmounting disk, failed. That's kind of typical for this OS. Alright, so we're back on the Mac Pro workstation here. Let's go to initialize and see what even happens here. So I'm just gonna try it from this computer as well. And failed, which once again is typical. Erase. So that's great. That doesn't show up at all. Alright, so I'm going to try one last thing. We're plugged into my gaming laptop right now. So I'm just going to plug that in to my Windows NTFS thing here. We get, you know, some kind of drive showing up thing. Let's drag File Explorer over here and let's go to this PC. And it doesn't show up in the thing here. Let me actually zoom in on the camera so you can see what's going on. You can see we have our local disk and we have an external or a secondary hard drive and then optical drive there. Let's go to disk management. I think it's called disk management. So it looks like I have to, it's giving me the same initialized disk thing that the Mac gave me. That's interesting. Disk 2, that's probably a drive. Yeah, so it looks like the SSD in my server failed, actually. That's, you know, pretty interesting. I'm just gonna unplug it because it doesn't seem to care if I do that. Nothing's mounted. Alright, so it looks like the SSD in my server failed. Luckily I didn't lose any data because everything is stored on the storage pool or master pool. Actually, come to think of it, I think I might have had a Minecraft server world or something saved to the desktop, but I'm not sure. It's pretty strange because I actually thought this drive was being backed up to the server. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to look at my backup settings, or I guess I might be, you know, redoing the backup settings because I think, like I said a couple times now, this SSD might be dead. I'm still gonna, you know, try and get it working. That's, you know, gonna be off camera, not filmed. But now I have to find a drive that I can put in my server because it doesn't have a boot drive right now. So we are in my basement, and this is my kind of box of hard drives. Fun fact, I have a liquid-cooled G5's cooling system up here. I'll probably eventually make a video about that. Anyway, so we're going to look for a suitable drive, because I don't really know what I have even. Is this even... yeah, that's SATA. This is a nice 500 gig drive I could use. I don't think this one has been beaten up too much. It's out of something. I don't know what it's from, but I'm going to put that up there on top of this 6600 DDL, I think these are called. Put it up here. So we are going to use this 500 gig drive. Feels, or it sounds good when I shake it. I don't hear any like rattling, so that's good. Alright, so we're back at my desk. And we're just gonna go ahead and install this drive. Alright, let's see what comes up. Oh, that drive sounds wonderful. And I say that totally sarcastically. I hope you heard that clicking on camera. I'm gonna move my chair so I can move the keyboard and mouse over to the server again, because that's what we're gonna be working on. Luckily, I don't really need the server for anything today. I'm not going to be editing the video. at all until this is up again. So even though I'm recording the video right now, I usually wait a couple days on the edit just because I'm lazy. So the new drive does sound pretty clicky, but it's only a temporary thing, I hope. I should be getting a better SSD. So this is from this is an external drive my friend gave me. I took that apart to get the drive out of it. So yeah, it is an NTFS thing, I think. No, it's because it can be read by the Mac, never mind. So we're gonna go up to erase. We're gonna make this OS 10 extended journaled, Mac OS extended journaled rather. Boot HDD because it's not an SSD. Done. All right. So yeah, we have a good drive here to work with. So we're going to quit disk utility, go to reinstall Mac OS, and continue boot HDD. Oh, so it's going all like PowerPC on us. Throwback to when I had to partition it like that. Yeah, we can fix that. Let's quit that, go to disk utility again. I'm kind of like not really too comfortable on the floor right now, but whatever. So let's go. Okay, so it looks like it's gonna be like, I don't know why Apple did this with disk utility, but they, absolutely crippled disk utility. So we're gonna have to erase this some other way. So I guess disk utility isn't that crippled in 1012. The MacBook Air is running 1012. So I'm gonna type in boot HDD, and you can see it failed. Like I said, this is the third time that's typical because Apple, from what I hear, programmed it wrong, and it doesn't erase the drive properly the first time. It's a good thing that I can't install on those partitions anyway. So yeah, we're gonna wait till this is done. I'm gonna charge my phone and import some footage, and I guess we'll continue when the installation is complete. On the plus side, my heat sinks for the 5770 came in the mail. Okay, these are a lot smaller than I thought they would be. There's my fingernail, my index finger thumbnail for scale. They're probably 3/8 inch by 3/8 inch. I thought these were going to be bigger than that. Alright, we are looking for a time machine backup. The installation just finished, and it actually went significantly faster on this mechanical hard drive than it did on any SSD I've ever installed on, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know what's up with that. So it doesn't look like we're going to find a time machine backup, which is kind of a problem. I thought I had a time machine backup of this server's boot drive, but maybe not actually. So yeah, it doesn't look like we're gonna find a time machine backup as I step on the wrapping of those heat sinks. So we're gonna go back here. Let's just not transfer information. Apple ID, can I just skip that? I think I can skip it, maybe not. So the only version of server I have is 10.3, which only works, well, it doesn't work on High Sierra. So I'm gonna roll my server back to El Capitan. And I've actually been planning on doing this for a while, so I could use server 5.3, because it has more features, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I guess we're doing that now. So thanks to these users on the Apple forums, 5.3 isn't compatible with 10.11, so I guess I'm installing 10.12, which I should also have an install thing for that. So I did indeed have Sierra in my applications folder already, plus it's on my server. And I'm doing this over USB 3, so it should be nice and fast. Alright, so that went nice and quickly over USB 3. I actually did not know it would go that fast over USB 3, so I'm going to start making these installers with USB 3 external drives instead of flash drives, because it's, like I said, significantly faster. So sadly, it's going to be quite a bit slower over USB 2 with the Mac Pro server, but whatever. What are you going to do? And actually, I should plug in my keyboard so I can select the proper boot device. Actually, I'm going to have to plug in all of my peripherals again. So if we go here, Install macOS Sierra. There we go. We are now booting into the Sierra installer, and I guess I'll continue. Oh my, that's a wonderful kernel panic there. Probably just have to make fresh install media or something. I have one Sierra installer in my applications folder on the Mac Pro, and then I have another installer in the shared folder on the server. So I'll just have to fire up the server again. Yeah, so it kernel panics when I boot into that. I guess, you know what? I will try making a new installer on the Mac Pro with the one in my applications folder, but if that doesn't work, then I'll try the one on the server, and if that doesn't work, then I guess that's even more fun, isn't it? Should probably start editing this video too while I do this, and I'm going to do this over USB 2. Drive doesn't spin up when I plug it into that port. That's funny. Anyway. Alright, well, I just got everything all fixed and back to normal, and yeah, that is weird. That should show up as a Time Machine disk, but you know what, I'll fix that later. Anyway, like I said, everything is back to normal as far as I can tell. I do need to figure out how I'm going to back up the boot drive in this computer though, because I cannot back it up to the backups folder in the master hole. So I'll probably just get an external drive and back it up to there for now. I only need 500 gigs of space for that. And I'm not even really going to be using any more than that. I'm using like 20 gigs or so, 15 gigs up there. So yeah, anyway, with that said, everything on the server is back to normal. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for joining me on this little adventure with this server and trying to get it working again. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.